is going on, New York Giant fans? Welcome back to another Big Blue in the Bronx YouTube channel video. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, comment, do all the good stuff. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops or a video drops. Appreciate y'all coming back. Also, this is going to be a quick video, so I won't have time for an ad break. But use the SeatGeek code Big Blue in the Bronx to get $20 off your entire order. Whether it's a parking pass, a concert ticket, or a ball game ticket. Works on all of them. Go use the promo code. So, we couldn't have a quiet week in Giantland after a Monday night loss, which effectively, in my opinion, ended our season. And of course, there's going to be some people out there that disagree with me. They have the right to disagree. Everyone has the right to an opinion. But I was at school today, and I see this thing come up on my laptop that Evan Neal makes a controversial comment. Now, I'm not going to give my thoughts on everything until we go through everything that has happened, specifically his comments and then his apology afterwards. So, Evan Neal, and the reason why I questioned this at first is because Daryl Slater is known as a very interesting character when it comes to the media. Sometimes what he says is true, sometimes it's out of context, sometimes it's provoked, all these other different things. So, Daryl Slater's talking to Evan Neal about his performance and the Giants' performance because it's been garbage. Like, let's be fair, it's been garbage. I'm not going to shy away from that. So Evan Neal says to Daryl Slater, they were booing us, so I said boo louder. Okay? Because that just further shows that people are fair weather. A lot of fans are bandwagoners. I mean, I get it. They want to see us perform well, and I respect all that, but no one wants us to perform well more than we do. And how can you say you're really a fan when we're out battling our asses off and the game wasn't going well, but the best you can do is boo your home team? So how much of a fan are you really? Most critics really don't understand the game of football to the level that we understand the building. So why should a lion concern himself with the opinion of a sheep? I'm just going to focus on Evan and getting better. I honestly do not care what anybody has to say about Evan Neal because they're going to talk anyway. And then in terms of social media, people tag me on stuff all the time. So it's like, yeah, I see it, but I genuinely don't care. Why should I? I'm in the National Football League. The person that's commenting on my performance, what does he do? Flip hot dogs and hamburgers somewhere? So now we get to the apology. I am wrong for lashing out at fans who are just as passionate and frustrated as I am. I let my frustrations in my play and desire to win get the best of me. I had no right to make light of anyone's job, and I deeply regret the things I said. We are working day in and day out to grow as a team, and this was an unnecessary distraction. I apologize. I'm not going to go on a full-blown rant. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. One of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to watching sports, and I've been watching sports for a good 10 plus years now, is when the fans are attacked by the players. Now, of course, sometimes fan bases can get riled up, right? I will say, the Philly fan bases, they're worse than the New York fan bases. It's just my opinion. The New York fans, I think it's overrated that people say, they're the worst fan base as any other thing. But you will have your bunch that do go over the top with certain things. Now, mind you, as of the record, at least on the record, nobody sat here and called Evan Neal a piece of shit or called him a racist name or any of that stuff. Nobody has attacked him personally. Now, maybe there's some 2% of fans on Twitter or Instagram or in his DMs. That shouldn't happen because, of course, we're all people at the end of the day and we do our respective jobs, so on and so forth. But what Evan Neal did is very unnecessary. And there's going to be two sides of this, of course. There's going to be the people that say, okay, I accept your apology. Or there's going to be the people that say, you know what, I don't care what he said. Just let the haters hate and all this other stuff and all that other nonsense. And then you'll have the people, kind of like myself, saying, you really can't buy New York fans on this. well, I should say, well, I mean, you can't really sell New York fans on this after the initial comment, which I thought was bad, but it got a little bit worse as I began to read the SNY article. So, obviously, you guys must have heard Don LaGreca's rant on ESPN radio about it. He said a lot of different things. I would say 99.9% I agree with upon. I wouldn't say he's a garbage person. And to be completely honest with you, this is something I didn't expect. Like, you could talk about different people, different players going after different fans. I wasn't a big fan of what Leonard Williams said a few years ago, and he's been a ghost since. So there's that, $32 million you're getting paid, and you're paid to be a ghost on the field. I mean, I could be a ghost for free. I mean, seriously, like the kid next door can dress up as a ghost and be a ghost for free. I mean, that doesn't make any sense in terms of him saying what he said 2 years ago, but I'm not reflecting on that. But Evan Neal, I have always praised him as this guy. He's going to come in. He's going to work hard. He's not going to make excuses. He's going to do what he's doing, right? And he's going to try and get better. I don't know what bug crawled up his ass, to be completely honest with you guys, to where he's got to say some stuff like this. And goes back to the original statement that I had was, I absolutely despise when athletes come out here and criticize the fans. Because at the end of the day, people want to say it's, sports radio talk type of quote or this, that, and the other thing. No, the fans pay the players. It's not the team ownership. Because the team ownership gets their money from the fans. They get it from the merchandise and the tickets and the PSLs and the parking passes, right? If you're the Johnsons, I mean, that's different. You get it from a pharmaceutical company. But that's the New York Jets. That's not right now. But we're talking about the Maras. They're getting it from Giant fans. The merchandise, all these other different things, some TV ratings possibly too. And for him to come out here and say, these guys are hamburger flippers and hot dog flippers, I'm not going to go out and advocate too much for them because, I mean, they have their own platform. Like the people that work at the low-end jobs, the minimum wage jobs, if they want to sit here on a stand and say something, sure. But what I will offer is this. That is an incredibly low blow by Evan Neal because Evan Neal, if you guys don't know, I don't know what his financial situation was as a kid. I'm not going to make guesses. But IMG, the high school he went to, is a prestigious football academy and is one of the best football academies in this country. And then he gets a scholarship probably, goes to Alabama, plays like a top 10 pick, comes here and hasn't played well. Like there's nothing you can put on his resume at the NFL level that says he's worth it, that he's going to make these comments and it's going to be all fine and well and it's all accepted and whatnot. Because he's played like garbage. He's played like garbage. And talking about bandwagoners, I mean, dude, you kind of have to win to have bandwagon fans. And so what? Like, my thing is, if you're an athlete, and I know this is easier said than done, just ignore it, dude. I mean, again, people aren't attacking you personally as we know it as of right now. But you got to block that shit out. It just shows that you're small-minded mentally and a little bit immature. I mean, content creators, for instance, right? They probably get a ton of hate. If you have an opinion that a lot of people don't agree with, they're going to sit there and attack your opinion. They might even attack you personally. But you got to move on. Like, that's the mentality you got to have. And one of the biggest things I'm not mentioning, and a lot of people are, siding with the crowd of, haters are going to hate and this, that, and the other thing. First of all, nobody's hating Evan Neal. Nobody is, okay? Nobody's hating Evan Neal. They're criticizing his constant garbage play. He blocked his own teammate on Monday. He hasn't played well, okay? It is the same issues from last year. And I've said on record Bobby Johnson should go because he should go. And Evan Neal has, I think, played worse than last year, if not at the same level. But get this, folks. We're in the New York market. I've said this time and time again. If you can't make it here, then sorry. Like, that's the mentality I have. And I know there's a lot of people out here, the small town Giant fans. And, we're not the Kansas City Royals, people. We're not, I don't know, the Minnesota Vikings. That's a little far of a stretch. But we're not some of these bum teams that, they go and relocate and the fans are just clapping and clapping, clapping. No, New York is a very, very tough place to play. And the expectations are high for a reason. Now, if this was like, for the last few years, the Giants have been going to the playoffs, this, that, and the other thing, and whatnot. Okay, maybe the fans shouldn't be as hard on you. But here's the kicker, right? This Giants team has been garbage for 10 plus years. They had, so far, what looks like an anomaly last year. You had an anomaly in 16. 2020, you didn't even have a winning record. And then you go into this season with all the expectations that the Giants also sold us on, so don't really get it caught up that the fans are, hyping the team for no reason. No, you don't trade for Darren Waller, saying, oh, we're going to rebuild. No, you don't sign Daniel Jones saying, oh, we're going to rebuild. No. You wanted to compete. You sold the fan base that you are going to compete. So you're in the New York market. You're the 7th overall pick of last year's draft. You're supposed to be someone who's going to improve and lock up that right side. You don't know how many Giant fans, Evan, in the process of the offseason kept saying we have the right side locked down because guess what? Evan Neal's going to lock it down for us and he's going to improve. You know how many Giant fans said that? You know how many people said that not knowing that this would happen or not knowing that a regression would happen, or maybe they thought a regression would happen, but they wanted to put out PR? They wanted to put out the good comments? But no, that's not read into. So you got that. And also, going back to the expectations coming into this year, the Giants are on pace to give up more sacks to Daniel Jones than David Carr in his first year in the NFL. He was sacked 76 times. Now, mind you, in my opinion, I don't think Daniel Jones is going to get sacked that many times because he's either going to get benched or he's going to get hurt. So there's that. This Giants team has been constantly uncompetitive in games. The 40-0 blowout at home. I mean, should the fans say, oh, clap, 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 you'll do better next game against the lowly Cardinals, which you were losing 28-7. I don't think people remember that, though. Against San Fran, you played poor. You didn't even play the greatest against Arizona. But San Fran, you basically got your asses handed to you. It was a 3-score game. And then, I'm not saying all the mistakes are Evan Neal's fault. The defense tackling is not his fault. Daniel Jones looking incompetent, not his fault. All right? Some of these other issues, not his fault. But suck it up. It's a team sport. Suck it up. If someone was blaming you for somebody else's mistake that's not even on the offensive line, maybe I could take that. But also what I don't get is this new mentality of the sports era, especially in the New York fan base that we're trying to get soft here, is, oh, you can't boo a player. You can't boo a player if you're, the fan of the team he's on. Says who, bro? Seriously. That's what gets me pissed off is people telling people how to fan. And even with this new conversation of tanking for a quarterback, I won't tell anyone how to feel, but just don't tell me how to feel. Because I know that thing is going around Twitter and social media right now, the tank for Caleb Williams, tank for Michael Penix. Again, that's going to be settled in the offseason. We'll talk about that when it comes time. But this new mentality of you can't boo your own players. Folks, I've said this 100 times since the Giants have started to play like garbage. You want to guess how much tickets are on TickPick right now to go to the Giants-Jets game? They start at $247. Okay? They start at $247. Over $100 for the Commanders game. And you could maybe argue, yeah, you're paying half a little bit for the Jets too, because maybe they cut into the profit. I don't think so, but that's a Giants home game, right? The Commanders, what's their record? Either 2-2 or 3-1. They're not some prestigious team. But either way, even if they were playing a prestigious team, the Giants have no right charging that amount of money if this is the team and this is the product we're going to see week after week. Because guess what's going to happen? And I'll say this too. Week 4, the fans showed up, right? Week 1, the fans were there. They were loud. They were excited for the season. They had their towels. Same thing happened in Week 4. Well, guess what happened? Once your team started playing like absolute ass, the fans decided to leave. And I'm a guy that's against, personally me, going out there and leaving a game early just to beat traffic. But if your team has been sorry for the past few weeks, in my opinion, I'll give you a pass. I've never really done that, to be honest, in terms of leaving a game early because my team has been under garbage. I've been through some tough games, right? Baseball, basketball, and football. But as for Evan Neal, to close it out, and then I have another statement in just a second. Do I hate the guy? No, I don't. I'm rooting for him to succeed as the right tackle. But he dug himself a goddamn hole. And he's lucky Giants PR came to his side, because that's what it is. It's PR. He's inclined to apologize, or else it doesn't look good on the Giants. Whoever the PR guy is, I think it's Pat Hanlon, or whoever handles the PR. It might be different from who handles the press. I don't know. In terms of like getting credentials and stuff. Again, that's beyond my pay grade. So, Evan Neal. And even I said it, like, I'm going to be honest. I don't have much faith in him as an NFL player for the Giants. I said this on Monday after how many sacks were given up. This is before the comment. I'm slowly starting to give up on him and resort to calling him a bust. Again, nothing to do with the comments, but there is no such improvement. And again, it goes to the offensive line coach as well, because Bobby Johnson ain't done shit. Big picture statement for a few seconds here. You got that. You got Week 2. Before the Week 2 game, guess what the Giants were doing? Leonard Williams and Adoree Jackson were playing video games in the locker room. You have Xavier McKinney make some weird statements about the tackling issues before Week 4. Let me tell you guys something. This is slowly, and I don't really want to speak this into existence because it would just make me suffer. It would make other Giants fans suffer. This is how a locker room implodes. Okay? This is how a locker room implodes. And there's really two sides of it that could come out of this. You could have ex-players of Brian Daboll say, no, he's a good leader. And all these different players, they're not trying. They want a payday. They're accustomed to losing, which, to be honest with you, other than last year, most of these players are losers. Okay, let's be honest. I mean, Xavier McKinney, though he's played well at times in the past few years, I mean, he's out of garbage this year. Adoree Jackson, I'm not going to attack him too much, but his play hasn't been well. Most of the Gettleman players, they haven't seen winning. They haven't seen winning. They don't know what it's like to be a sustained winner. So you could have that and put that in a bottle and share it with somebody. But you could also have ex-players come out, or maybe free agents say, I'm not going to go to the Giants because the locker room is trash and Daboll's a bad coach, or they'll say something, whether it's true or not, good or bad, to try to influence what's going on. So my word of advice to Brian Daboll is this. We have 13 games to go. It's not like we have 2. We have 13 games to go. You want to sit here and make the case the Giants can still make the playoffs? Yeah, mathematically it can happen. But very low chances right now because you started out as 1-3. We saw it Week 1, Week 2, Week 3, some of these other weeks. That once a bad play is made on offense or defense, the momentum is a total push in. It is a total chain mover in a negative way. There's no such thing as positive momentum with the Giants. It is negative. It is negative. Because how many times did the Seahawks kill themselves? They shot themselves in the foot and the Giants couldn't score on offense. All these different things. But my final words to Brian Daboll is get this locker room under control. You want to sell players at the deadline? Go ahead. Get some picks for next year and start this thing like it should have been started before. And I get it. We all got caught up in the hype. But what's better long term is what's better long term. Because if they start giving up now, and the locker room is a total zoo now, that makes you look worse as a coach. Because at least if you go to week 15, week 14, and then they start giving up, you will know that you had them competitive in games, maybe up to that point for a good portion of the season. Not that they gave up in week 4, week 5, and boom, you're sitting there with a bunch of guys who don't even want to fucking listen to you. And again, I don't want to go through the cycle of coaches again. That's not something that I wish upon. I think Brian Daboll could succeed here. I don't think that way about other coaches. I didn't think that way about Judge, McAdoo, or Shermer. I think Daboll can succeed here. But he's got to get the locker room in order before they start making more outrageous comments. And then you'll know the next thing will be the anonymous sources. But he also has to get his coaching under control. Kafka's a patsy without being on the headset. T-Mac should have been fired last year. He should have been fired the year before that. His special teams unit is garbage. The fact that you have players committing multiple unnecessary roughness penalties and unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, I mean, that kind of reminds me week 4 Broncos-Jets from 2020, if anyone remembers that game. Now, Daboll's not Adam Gase, but the players taking unnecessary shots. And I'm not talking about the Simmons hit either. I'm talking about Brightwell running into the punter. I'm talking about him throwing somebody to the ground. I'm talking about Cam Brown pushing somebody. I'm talking about all these other different things. And then Bobby Johnson too, because who knows if the O-line actually has faith in his coaching. But that's it. I'm done ranting. Like, comment, subscribe to all the good stuff. Turn on post notifications so you know when the live stream pops or drops. Appreciate y'all coming back. We're going to have Thursday Night Football. We're going to have a couple of different things for you guys this week. Going to do a collab with the Dolphins content creator. More to come. Peace out, guys. See you later. Stay cool.